diary, they hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street, they hawk. Still them talk, say, make we no talk. But thank God, say, my ego don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo.
In the time of poverty like this, the economic principle of Yusuf is what everybody should apply in his own lives. Eat little, save more. You don't know what is happening. Kese la nri lowo, makasakasa timbo. A dollar was just 800 naira or thereabout a couple of months ago. Now a dollar is over 1,000 naira. How much will it go? Nobody knows. Tori to nse falafulu. Ogba salary kilawa. Igberaga week. Gbera re sanle láìpẹ́. Eat little and save more. Ayé tá ń jẹ chicken kọ́ la wà yìí mọ́. Ayé shawarma kọ́ mọ́. Ayé ice cream kọ́. Mu gààrí. Jẹ pọ̀nmọ́. Gbàgbé táwọn doctor sọ pé kò ní nutritional value. Kí ló fẹ́ nutritional value pẹ̀lú kíni? Jẹ pọ̀nmọ́. Mu gààrí. Orí ẹja. Wallahi kò rẹ́rìn. Bọ̀ọ̀bá lọ ṣe falafolo pẹ̀lú owó ìyá ó jẹ ọba kẹ́. This is the time to save more. Kálukú ló mọ̀ tí ń san lówó skú àwọn ọmọ níṣẹ́.
Ayégun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Ayégun lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live. Gààrí.
Diary politico.
Jẹ pọ̀nmọ́.
Godfather.
Orí ẹja.
Kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun.
Gbàgbé gbogbo ohun táwọn doctors sọ pé kò ní nutritional value. Nutritional kí ni?
Ó kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu.
Ìgboro rẹ́rìn-ín.
Àní Mayegun.
Ask for an interpreter.
Ojojojo. Mayegun diary.
Yes. Tell them.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
I got all your messages.
Ẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Ẹ̀yin Afẹ́nifẹ́re.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
I mean. You well wishers. Because I dropped an hint yesterday. I was going to Nigeria. My phone has never stopped ringing. Messages from so many people. Don't go. Please. Calm down. Share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Read the caption of the broadcast. Tell them that Mayegun today. Read the description as well. I will be waiting. For a moment, I want to plead with you to forget the fake life. Stop faking it before you make it. Being truthful. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. Okay, this is Mayegun and this is live. Thank you so much to every one of you who has liked the video before you even start watching. And to those of you who have also shared it, thank you. I do appreciate that, by the way, like a lot. So yeah, I kind of want to make this broadcast tonight one of the realest you have seen on Mayegun's Diary Political. And I do this very often, by the way, like it's not even random. That after everybody pretends and chooses sides of their oppressors or those who are pushing back, I kind of once in a while like this ask people to, can you just drop that for a moment? Like everyone drop that for a moment and let's just talk man to man, woman to woman, like human to human. This is like drop all the politics, drop all the pretense on social media. Omo, realize now all of us they okay. Oh. Sure, you know, if you are on Facebook almost every day, if you are not seeing somebody who is doing birthday, they will be doing naming ceremony or they just congratulations. Oh, and my wife just gave birth to our bouncing baby boy. Facebook, they always have a lot to celebrate. And apart from those who are asking people to share this so that 5 people in your family can be successful this year, share this to 20 people, answer this prayer, type amen, and all of that. Those ones are not so common. But if you're on Facebook, you will probably believe that almost everything you are hearing about Nigeria is exaggerated. Sure you get. Then when you go onto platforms like X, Twitter, or being a former Twitter, everyone seems to be either a professional in this, an intelligentsia in that, and they are like experts, Nigerians, on Twitter. When you go on to pages like Instagram, you will think, you like saying, everybody in a rich kid, though. Somehow, like they have a lot of party and the rest. And where are these stories coming from then? Who are those who are the victims of this? Because everyone you talk to will tell you that, it is you. The inflation is biting. But on social media, I mean, it seems everyone is all right. Not everyone, but like, the chunk. And then you begin to ask yourselves, who are those, who are the victims? This 149 million, 45 million Nigerians who are living in multi-dimensional poverty. Where are they from? So that is why I kind of want to ask you how you have been coping and how you have been doing. Sure you get. And that's why I said it's going to be like interactive. Sure you get now. Somebody's somebody's pain is somebody's, what do you call it, celebration. Oh, sorry, where somebody is sort of in pain, somebody is in celebration and all that. And since Nigeria is about, I better pass my neighbor, we sort of do everything to want to be better than the next person, to show that everybody they suffer, but I find my way, kind of. Sure you get. So Mo will leave all of that pretense. Mo will kind of leave all of that pretense of you are enjoying poverty, excusing it, and finding ways to adapt with it. And somehow, you are comfortable. I kind of want to hear from people, from inside Niger and all of that, so that you can tell us how you have been kind of coping. Okay? Because we know that the cost of everything has gone up beyond your minimum wage. Now, from those who have sort of measured Nigeria's inflation, It is not just inflation, it is hyperinflation. Is there anything that is stronger than hyper? More manage hyper. You understand? Like having 500, between 300 to 1,000% inflation. So those who measured that, they said, for people to at least be able to live normally, and what is normally? You are able to pay your rent. For those of you who don't have your houses, Abi, you are able to pay your bills. Bills like if you have children that are still schooling, you don't really have too much trouble paying their tuition. And for medical care for the family, you will still be able to, I mean, as people will say, God forbid anything beyond this living wage I'm about to mention. Oh. So they said, if you are earning at least minimum of 500,000 naira. Do you understand what I'm saying here? For you to be able to kind of live, like, shall live normally, you need a minimum of 500,000 naira as your minimum wage. With this, you will be able to pay for everything currently in Nigeria. Sure, you'll be able to pay for everything within the range of normal family. Pay your electricity, pay for your pay your insurance on your car, pay if you have, well, you can have car like that, yeah. Then others are now saying, what about those who are the level of 250,000 naira with the current reality in Nigeria? The answer is that you are poor. Poor in the sense that if a member of your family, again, God forbid, and to those of you who are already in these shoes, I would love to hear from you tonight when we open the line. They say, if, God forbid, a member of your family should need any lifetime medical care, as little as inhaler, that would be the moment you would know that you are very poor. But in the current Nigeria, with the survey and everything that is practically available, they say at least an average Nigerian make 1,500 naira a day. Now, if you multiply 1,500 naira, even give them the entire 31 days or 30 days, an average Nigerian makes 45,000 naira a month. These are the category of Nigerians that should be in the bracket of those, based on today's reality, that should be earning 250,000 naira minimum in whatever you are doing. The valuation and everything that comes to you in the current reality. But those who are supposed to be earning that, they are hacking out their living more or less from hand to mouth, and what they come up with at the end of the month, 45,000 naira. Can I tell you something? Even this 45,000 naira, there are some people that will say, 45,000, that's my salary and I have a job. I'm talking about those who have no real job, like any stable job, who just do whatever comes, like labor here and there on a consistent, what have you, they will probably be able to earn 45,000 naira. And there are other part of the other, people who go into construction. That is another sector entirely. Don't compare them. Here you get. But when you see that even people don't earn that 45,000 naira, and then you begin to ask yourself and say, okay, if there are people who doesn't even earn 45,000 naira in this hyper-inflated economy, your criminal politicians are buying vehicles, taking care of themselves. So they are paying themselves according to the inflation, hyperinflation in the country. They increase their own salaries and they never miss the month. Do you get that? But when it came to the real sector, the real engine of the economy itself, of the government itself, the workers, they couldn't work out the modality of how they are going to fit you into the hyperinflation. But they fixed themselves, gave themselves 114% salary increase. Do you get that? So the real workers themselves, they couldn't figure out what to give. They said, okay, we'll give you 35,000 naira for 6 months. After that, what's going to happen? Would the inflation have gone by then? Of course, it would have skyrocketed more. So what will happen after that? They don't know. But you still have to take whatever they give to you then, if they ever give you. And you still have to go into that economy to exist. How are you doing it? To some of you, that they are still feeding at home, and you can afford 5,000 naira data, 10 mega, 10 gig. How many gig you get with 5,000? 100 gig. Na 50 gig, I don't know. Those of you, they are still feeding you at home. You are not paying rent. Good enough, your parents were able to kind of have done well for themselves in the past. But that is about to be taken away from them anyway. But those of you who have data like that to come on social media and all that, 5 grand, I read about that. Do you ever sort of ask your parents how they have been able to continue to feed you? And continue to foot bills to those of you they send to schools. And right now, your school fees alone is over 200,000 naira, and it is still going to go up. Have you ever sat for once to ask your parents, or whoever is paying whoever is paying for it, that, see, mommy, dad, can I ask you a question? How are you doing it? I know majority of them will tell you it's the grace of God. But as their child, you probably should ask more about that, the grace of God, because a lot of people are going into serious indebtedness and they are having serious health deterioration. Health of some of those who are trying to foot these bills in this economy, their health are deteriorating slowly. Some of them are even dying because majority of them have substitute health care, food, school fees. So you have to put everything on the table. This is what we have. And there is no food at home. They just told me that I should go and do one test because they might be suspecting I have cancer. I don't want to tell my family that I'm suffering from something yet because we have no much money to begin to do tests here and there. So they will keep it away from you. While some of you are on social media defending APC, defending PDP, and doing everything to sabotage the effort of those who actually don't want to live in this kind of existence. So suddenly, your amazing mom, lovely mom, suddenly fall ill and die. Suddenly, your very strong, energetic, supportive dad, suddenly, he just fell ill. And before you know it, you have started selling some of his properties. And you are beginning to see the reality clearly. And some of you are beginning to ask, to even do dialysis for daddy, we had to take him to so and so. Daddy suffered because in the government hospital there was no this, there was no that. They were asking us for this. The reality of Nigeria would then appear to some of you so late. I'm asking you right now, to those of you they are still feeding at home, and you are reading all these news, some of you know that even at home, there has been so much adjustment. Yes, but they are still feeding you. They are still housing you. And you have no idea what is really going on until it is too late. And I fear for some of you too, who are actually going through this yourself, watching me right now. In your 20s, you are already looking like somebody who is over 40. Simply because you have a young family. You have a daughter, you have a son, you have a wife. Your job can no longer feed them. You can no longer sleep well at night anymore. While the rest of the family are sleeping, you are preoccupied with, what can I do? What should I do? And before you know it, at that young age, you are already suffering from high blood pressure. Some of you, because of this reality I'm talking about, you know how it is eating. Some of you have now become, what do you call them? People who need medication to live a normal life. You are now suffering from different sicknesses. Sicknesses that they never born you with. Sicknesses that you've never really suffered before. Some of them caused by overthinking, overplanning. Imagination won't finish you. But yet all this dream, they are just leading you into the dark holes. Dark hole, dark hole. You are looking at it as if to say, this may be your chance. There may be an opportunity. You have become a predator, looking for just anything to survive for the next day, waiting for the day that you're going to meet your jackpot. You are ignoring the obvious. This is me telling you what you are going through now. And somehow you probably don't want to accept the truth. The truth that the actions of these criminals, their greed and then their corruption has already triggered hyperinflation, bankruptcy, and they are not even coming clean. And while you may not understand all of that, but if I have to picture and paint the picture of what a lot of you are going through, and you put yourself in that, it's talking about me. Yes, I'm talking about you. The reality of, Gary expensive, the Indomie expensive, Pampers expensive, baby food expensive, this and that people are joking about. That actually all of you are suffering it. You are living just for the day. You are living from hand to mouth. Okay? And you still don't understand the consequences of having criminals in charge of your country. I'll continue to explain it to you. People are choosing between eating or living. If you don't eat, this is the mentality that I've heard from people. They said, Mayegun, the situation is so serious now that, Baba, I'm going to use an example for you. It's an old man, he's watching me right now. But I'm going to twist it in a way that it's not going to be too direct, so that I bet he's probably even happy that I'm going to share that. So this elderly man, who I strongly believe it might come from the generation of those who have destroyed Nigeria, and those who groomed those who are destroying Nigeria today. But he is an honest, upright man. When you look at the young people who are standing up against these rogues, when you look behind them, you will see elderly men and women who strongly believe, because majority of them are saying, listen, we are older now. Our time is almost up. You are the ones who are going to live in this world that these criminals are creating. If you value the world you want to exist in, you better fight for that your future. You see all these kind of men like that and women like, that continue to encourage and say, continue, do your best. So we were talking. And he said, Mayegun, do you want me to tell you something? I have 2 houses, okay, in Lagos. And I've got tenants who pay me rent regularly until APC happened to Nigeria. At first, they first started missing. And these are people that is kind of had them for a long time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 of his tenants, they started missing their rent. And this is a man who is like he's a pensioner. It depends on his rent. You understand that? It's not working anymore. So he lives on his rent. And he's been diagnosed of diabetes for over 20 years. He's been nursing it for a very long time. Here you get. And he also has these complications. I may not talk too much. He has some health complications that he had no problem managing them. Some, he said, especially his diabetes, he's had that for over 20 years. And he's been very normal, healthy, and all of that. Then when the economy of Nigeria started taking the proper hit, his tenants couldn't really pay the rent anymore. And as his tenants kind of were missing rent, and things were going up as well, here you get, his medication started becoming expensive more than, he started spending more every month than he used to spend. Remember, the money is no longer coming in regularly. This is his own investment too. Here you get, the money wasn't coming in anymore. He's paying more for his medication. And right now, in 8 years of Boko Haram, this old man sold one of his houses. Like it was pointless. Keeping people there, living there for free. That even when he got new tenants, they will pay the money for like a year or two. Afterward, it will become a cat and mouse relationship. So he sold one. He didn't want to die. And when he sold his house 5 years ago, he said, most of that money went into his medical bills. He told me that he said chunk of it. In fact, he sold the house, more or less like to buy long life, to buy extra life for himself. So he didn't want to get stuck that something will happen. And at the end of the day, he will have no money to take care of him. So he sold the house. put the money in the bank. The depreciation, the devaluation of Naira took almost, 1/3 of that money anyway in the long run. But the chunk of the money went to his medication. He's run out of that money. The singular house that he has right now, which he lives, and then with few tenants, he knows that even with the few tenants, 3 tenants or so that he said he has in the current house, it's the remaining house, with their rent, he's an old man that feels like, I have no other thing to rely on now. So I would have to increase the rent for everyone. Here you get, if my survivor and living in this place continue to rise, I will have to put it on those who are, you know what I mean, like normally. Then it got to a stage that he couldn't even increase the rent on those people anymore. It was pretty much like it's pointless too. That he is now so afraid that if he lasts Tinubu's 8 years, that's why he told me, he said, Mayegun, if people like me last 8 years of Tinubu, that means maybe God still have a purpose for us in this world. He has already given up. He said, I'm not going to sell my last house. The old man is talking about medication. And guess what? There are so many people who have now fallen into medical debt. So, if you think politics is a game, a game of a Chelsea versus Arsenal, Barcelona versus Real Madrid, PDP versus APC, Yoruba versus Igbo, Fulani versus Hausa, you are dumber than a doorbell. We are talking about life, your life, the one you are living right now, the one they are asking you to pray hard, work hard. That is the life that they are about to snuff out of you. And anybody can fall into it anytime. Anyone. I've seen young people with serious medical conditions that they never had. They never had all this. You hear that afar that is telling them to eat, mama? Eat the fish head. That don't worry about what doctor says about no nutritional value. You don't need nutritional value. What they are doing now is just try and fill your belly up. Anywhere and anything you can. Fill your belly up. It may be once a day. If you are lucky, you get it twice. If you are having it 3 times, rich kid, you better don't tell anybody your secrets. You dey eat 3 times a day. Even they do dorime. About not tell anybody your secret too. I'm asking you, please, you need to tell us your secrets. Please. Because there are some other things beyond just food. Imagine a situation whereby you have to work. Not only that your pay, your take-home pay cannot take you home. Not only that, because even your pay, there are people today that they have to give up their jobs. It didn't make any sense anymore. You are being paid, for example, you are being paid 50,000 naira. And you are working in the island, on the island. Living on the mainland, and in a month you are spending 15,000 naira on transportation. Then suddenly, from 15,000 naira, what you are now spending on transportation is now over 35,000 naira. You have rent. If you have a child, you have our family. You have to take care of them. How do you want to do it? I remember some of them from May, they just stopped going to their work. Some businesses, they started making some adjustment. They didn't want to increase anybody's salary. They cannot afford it. Sure, you get. So they started looking at some people and like, you know what? Can you work remotely? Like work from home. You don't need to come to work. So that we can pay you our salary. We wanted to sack people. But we see that Nigeria is somehow, we don't want to sack you. So we'll pay you our salary, but you'll be working from home. I have people who have all these stories. They are existing in Nigeria right now. Then I have the story of those who have seen Iye ara sán, atẹ́gùn fẹ́. Ìjìjà kò gbé wa lọ, ó yẹ ká dúpẹ́. So this one a song go. I'll give you the interpretation, but I said, ó yẹ ká dúpẹ́. Ó yẹ ká dúpẹ́. Ó yẹ ká dúpẹ́. Ó yẹ ká dúpẹ́. Ara sán, atẹ́gùn fẹ́. Ìjìjà kò gbé wa lọ, ó yẹ ká dúpẹ́. There were Nigerians who were doing Thanksgiving because where they were working, instead of sacking them, they offered them half salary. Others, they sacked a lot of people. They didn't sack them. But what that simply means is that they're saying we should be great. We should be grateful to God. We should be grateful to God. Thunder strike, windy blow. EG, what is EG again? No, EG is whirlwind. Whirlwind they blow everyone, but carry us. We should be thankful. I'm so sorry. I am not a good singer, so ignore that. What that song was that they say they are thankful to God that despite the storm, the thunder, the wind, and all of these natural disasters that happened. People died, people perished, people lost things. But look at them, they are still alive because God loved them. That's what that song is about. Oh. Those who were singing that in Nigeria, they ended up homeless in Canada. Because I remember those who believe that, you see, if things are happening around you, pay attention. Oh. That they sack your mates. That they sack your mates. And they say they work hard. You are working harder. Harder where? The employee of the month, they don't sack him. You still they do loyalty. You better begin to look for somewhere else that you can, because if you come here tomorrow, man, they tell you not get job again. No. What are the alternatives? Nigerians ended up in the hands of their fellow Nigerians who were scamming them of millions and millions of money, telling them that there are offers elsewhere. The pastor is greener elsewhere. They say the grass is greener elsewhere. So some people started in this fear, the fear that some of you are still living the fake life of on social media. I'm coming back to you. I'm just saying the fear of what some people have seen. They have seen their former director. They ask for urgent 2K lórí Facebook. Former director. We get the own driver. He has his own private this. They have his own private quarters. But when the economy of Nigeria entered their business, they don't sack branch director or the regional director. Regional director, why then don't be urgent 2K lórí Facebook. And you see they put eye on. They come they tell you say Canada one le. You know kukiri ja koya jakpa. And you can tell. Before now, Nigerians they cross deserts. They run away from Nigeria economic problems. These were deadly journeys. There were journeys that you fit tell your family, say you they go Europe, make you end up in a cage in Libya. We be seeing a taxi driver, they sell you for $200. I swear. I'm just telling you what people actually had to go through. People will see their fellow person where their hydration don't finish them. They go see dead body on this desert, going to Europe. They want to go and make it. They are running away from these criminals who are ruining Nigeria. Gone are those days, so now only foolish people, they follow deserts now. People, they sell their family land. They sell the village land. Okay? Some people, they kidnap family member, collect ransom to pay people who go see scam them. Tell them, say, job, they Sweden. Only for them to end up homeless. I'm not saying everyone. I have seen this too. The desperation. So if you are one of those who believes that you will continue to love your criminals differently as some of you have done, that's fine. But I'm talking to those of you, including those of you who are in the diaspora. Me, I have one or two people that if anything happened to me, this is not a joke. 2 people. If they don't hear from me in 2 months, they go do their Frida prayer. The 3rd month. Yani pay 8 days prayer. I want to sing one last week. I know 2 people. And this is not about food. This is not about clothes. This is not about living like. These are people who rely on my token to pay for their medication. So this is why this particular topic is personal to me. Because I keep wondering, like, if I know 2 people and I've seen others, I've read their stories, and I have seen that, I can tell that there are millions in that space. Ikú òjijì rèé o. Ọjọ́ kíákíá dẹ̀tì rèé o. So when I told you last night that I'm thinking of going to Niger, and people started reacting, you just put my mind. My mind is very, no, I understand. It will be selfish of me to know the rogues and what they are doing in Nigeria to people there, and still try to want to go and find out. That means I'm actually selfish. It is not an act. I could go there and I won't tell you. You understand? But if I have to say, okay, I'm going to be in Niger, it's going to be selfish. And you know why? Apart from all of us here that comes to the temple that wanted to make sure that Mayegun is always like on and all of that, it's great. That could be selfish, like you don't want anything to happen to me. But there are people too, that after God do, now this face you, if it disappears, which many have already, and everybody will kind of move on, like, everybody will move on, everyone else will move on. There are people that can't move on. Do you understand that? And that is why I told you once, a while back, that a free Mayegun is more useful to everyone than a dead one or a locked up one. So it's not an act of bravery to go into the hand of barbarians. After all we know, go into the hands of these barbarians and then put the lives of, But for those of you who are there and you are surviving it, paying somebody, man, share this. They say Panadol is now 250 naira. You probably should tell me the real one. These are for medication, right? Antibiotics, anti-malaria, anti-asthma, Ventolin inhaler, Actifed. And these are just like, like common medications, that if you make them, once inflation touches them, you are actually signing the death warrant of some people. And if you are the one behind it, covering up, using lies to cover up the truth of what is really going on, what they are doing is they are just signing the death warrant of people. And that could be any of us. It could be me, Mayegu. Because if I find myself in Nigeria, and all of you don't know that, oh, Mayegu is in Nigeria, you have no idea. So if I have to, because I would take an injection, you know what I mean? I'll have this, I don't know the name again. They'll give me an injection that is going to prevent all the mosquitoes. They can't, I mean, I won't have malaria. Do you get that now? Like I won't. But I could contract any medical emergency. Sure, you get food poisoning. And when you say food poisoning, nobody say when them poison me, oh, that one self-deal. When they poison you, that one different too. But when you eat food that is not properly cooked, even though it tastes good and it looks, you know what I mean, like it's not properly cooked, and it turns your this, and that could turn to something very, very deadly in a twinkle of an eye. Like it could be something serious. So then you will just hear that Mayegu is dead. How? He was in Nigeria and he just complained of so and so. Then everybody would begin to develop conspiracy. Then poison and they should call the person who is saw last. They should do this or that. And the whole story will go on for like a week or two. All of them will continue with your lives. Do you understand the risk I'm talking about here? It could be any of us. It could be you. The moment you find yourself in that space, anything could lead to serious medical emergency. And the problem is even this. The problem is not just that you are poor. Let's say you even have the money. You have the money. But there is no facility for you that could take you in as an emergency, save you. I am not condemning all the healthcares in Nigeria, but you all know what I am saying, There are those, despite this inadequate infrastructure for healthcare in Nigeria, there are those who have invested so much to try and fill in the gap. But all of them can still agree with us that it's still pretty much inadequate. No. Abi? I could get shot by the police, by the criminals, by anybody or anything. And they will be telling you, for 3 hours, they didn't see anyone to take me. Or when they finally found an hospital to take me, there was no blood. And I've lost so much blood. So that is, I can write the script of what can happen to me if I go to Nigeria. That could lead me into needing serious medical care. And once I miss it, I will learn it. So then think of those who just need little money for medication, just to manage their health, to manage their conditions. When you are increasing everything, should you by any means not protect those people by protecting that sector? Have you ever thought of that? That you have to choose, somebody give you money. Finally, you have money, and then you have to choose between either eating or buying drugs. If you buy a drug and you no eat, you go die. If you buy food and you no buy drug, you will suffer and you will die. Do you know that people actually live like that in Nigeria? They do. And some of them, they are children. They are on social media defending APC and all of that. And you see the one you saw on the screen, those are just like not too big medical, what have you. There are people who are suffering from serious medical conditions that are already dying. And guess what? Even if people start dying and falling down and dying on the streets, do you know what they will tell you? So is it because just about 20 people they fell and die on the streets. Is that why you are now saying that Nigerians are dying? You're not too like to exaggerate something. That's what they will say. They will say you love exaggeration. It's not just about 23 people in the last 2 months. That man that they said was waiting at the bus stop and they awakened him, he didn't wake up, he's dead. That one that they say, is it now, is that why you are now saying that Nigerians are dying? Nigerians are dying. We know that the government needs to do something, but you know what? We should not be exaggerating. Hello. You see, those who are exaggerating are just those who are crying.